It's always worth considering getting a little compressor. Just a little thing, you know what I mean? It'll just do it. Compressed air is so useful in the workshop. You can just plug it in and you've got air ready to rock and roll. Let's just put that in and off we go. Plug this in, off we go. You don't need no fancy tyre gauge, just an old cheapo thing will do for blowing up tyres, them sort of things. You can get big monstrous things, but the little ones do just as good. In my case, I use these two little ones, link them together, and then use a reservoir, spare reservoir, so I've got the tank. Great just for knocking around in the workshop, you know what I mean? It's nothing commercial at all, but just for messing around, compressed air is so handy in the workshop. I mean, today we're going to do tyres, but just, it's handy, you can plug anything. You get a lead, air hose, and you can plug so many different tools, air-driven tools. So useful, and just a little, you know, just a little tank like that'll do. Just, if you see one in the car boot, get down the car boot, get looking and searching, or more Facebook or whatever's local. If you can find one at the right price, all the better. I don't know about you, but I think there's plenty of air in this tyre. Oh yeah. There's plenty of air in that tyre. Let's try that again. I think there's plenty of air in this tyre. I think there's plenty of air in that tyre. So, you know, we don't use them very often. It's one of those things, you've got one and you very rarely use it. But you've always got one, haven't you? So it's always worth, between the end of one job and the beginning of another, before you set off to do another little project, it's always worth double checking. Because you know you've been busy, you've been using it, there may have been a cut or a snag or something that makes it dangerous. So because there's quite a gap between using it and not using it, if something may have fallen on the cable and damaged it, it's always worth just before you start another project, you know, head it off at the pass, always worth just checking, making sure everything is in good order, and if it needs repairing or a bit of maintenance, it's worth doing that first. Yeah, then you can carry on with what you're doing. Yeah, I thought this had a dodgy plug. I was thinking of something else. I've got something with a dodgy plug. Anyway, let's plug it in, see if it starts. Let's plug it in. Let's see if it goes. Oh, working fine. On-off switch working fine. Nice and quiet. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's ready for action. Lovely. Let's just, can we check the belt? To recall, we put a belt in it not so long ago. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that's just fine. Sure, nothing's corroded. Everything's working as it should. That's not quite in, is it? That's not quite in. There we are. That's better. There we are. Just to make sure if there's anything to weld or catch up on, or because for me and you, Mr. DIY at home, this mixer might stand for a year, 2 years, 3 years in between little projects or jobs, and so we're headed towards quite a big job. It's going to be used for quite a few weeks. Just make sure the stand doesn't need any welding on it, doesn't want any repairs on it. Yeah, that'll be fine. It'll be just fine. Little tip, okay, it's under the tent here, but if you've got one of these mixers and it has to be outside because you've got nowhere else to keep it, use one of these 10 bags. Put one of these 10 concrete bags over the top of it, and it keeps it just fine. Stay under there for a few years before you need to use it again. These 10 bags are really good for covering over little bits of equipment like this. So this is the time of year to get your little gallons of oil with just a little bit in the bottom, shove it in an oil can and start oiling everything. It doesn't matter what the wife says. Oh, you've oiled the locks, there's filth everywhere. This is the time, springtime is the time to catch up, get rid of the winter blues and go around and oil every hinge and every lock and everything, so that when Debbie opens the door in the morning to go to the office, she's got oil all over her hands. Husband's revenge, that's called. Let's get rid of the winter blues. Oh, isn't the winter awful? And the damp weather. The British weather's awful. It kills anything that's outside, it kills it. So let's do a bit of catching up. Make sure everything's working. Let's get rid of the winter blues. And it's going to be so much nicer when you just get hold of this and it works fine. You ain't got to be knocking it around with an hammer, giving it grief. You know, everything's going to be working straight away when we get, right, where's those legs? Oh yeah, put them legs here and we'll adjust them this way. And they're all going to be in nice working order. So this is the time to get rid of the winter blues. So, if you get yourself a little compressor, it opens the world to another whole load of tools that you can buy, and quite helpful, you know, getting your wheels off your wheel brace. You know, if you need to do a bit of sanding, bit of cleaning, if you need to do a bit of chiseling, you know, you don't want to be catching, you don't want to be, you know, missing the chisel and hitting your hand. That saves all that sort of danger. Bit of sanding you can do. I've got a wrench here somewhere. I did have, yeah, it's a bit of grinding, little drills. You can do some drilling. I mean, drilling is fine, but if you cut through your electric cable, possibly hurt you. Well, an air drill's never going to hurt you, is it? It's only run by air. Or you can get little ratchets, little powered ratchets. Let me just get this for you. Little powered ratchets, little saws. There's all sorts of air tools that you can pick up as you go along, and gives you another line of tools, isn't it? I always like to put a tail on them. So yeah, well worth getting a half decent, or a, you know, not a 12-volt compressor to blow your tires up. Get a little compressor with a little tank. It's so useful. It opens another world out to you. The same as I say about, you've got air tools and you've got that option. Hold on a minute. I also say the same about 10 boxes. Wow. Pick yourself up a 110 box in the car boot this year, and it's going to open up a whole other world of tools and possibilities. Yeah, so 110 tools and air tools, great thing to add to your collection and into your workshop. So there is different shovels. Look, if you want to just shovel sand in a mixer, you want a light shovel, something not too robust, not very good for digging, but great for throwing some mix in a mixer or making up a mix. So these are great for that sort of job, but as you can see, they're quite flexible. Then you can go for a more robust shovel and slam it into the ground, try and cut a root or something like that. Yeah, this thing, there's no flex at all in that one. And then of course you can get a ditch digging shovel, wow, which is solid. Dig out the tracks on a machine, track shovel I call this, but it's smaller and you can really slam that into the ground if you want to cut some earth away, soil, dirt, whatever. So that's more of a digging, that's more of a multi-purpose. This is more of a loading, you know, just for picking up fairly loose material, throwing it in the barrow, you know, putting sand and cement in the mixer, that type of stuff. And then if you really want to go crazy and you've got something really tough to have a go at, you can slam this into the ground And you put your foot on it and stand on it, you know, and dig turf, all that sort of thing with it. This, you wouldn't really want to be digging turf with this. It's lifting too much up. Yeah, it's too weak. Yeah. So you need a shovel for every sort of job. So let's get these cleaned up. Bars and spikes. You don't want to be ripping it. Yeah, this is okay for throwing into the ground, trying to pull something out, trying to break something up. You can do levering with it, but it's not that good for levering. You slam that into something to try and separate some wood or some concrete apart, whatever you're doing. But that's more friendly on the hand rather than, I'll show you another one that's not friendly on the hand. So although this has got a spike at the bottom the same as the other one, this is more for prying and bending and lifting up. All day gripping this and throwing this into the floor, it soon rips your hands up, soon rips your gloves up. So this is more for trying to get under something and really, you know, levering it up and get that movement on it. But you want to avoid, if you're going to be slamming it into the ground, trying to break something up or into brickwork or whatever, you don't want to be, these are less friendly to the hands. I know you wear gloves, but no, don't use them for going through the ground. These are just simply, oh, watch out your toes. This one's a heavy one again. All right for levering and barring, but not good on your hands. And of course this one, all day, work with this all day, boy oh boy, you know, you'll be fit afterwards. You'll be either fit or dead, one of the two. Yeah. Fit or knackered, slightly lighter, still the same. Working with these all day, it's hard work on your hands. Picking bars, you've got to get something that A, does the job, but B, is quite comfortable and quite strong. Yeah, it's okay, but it's a bit weak, it's a bit bendy, couldn't really do much for the hard work, but it's light. This one's a bit thicker, a bit stronger. This one is even bigger and stronger, but heavier. But again, it's much easier on the hands. You don't get calluses, you know, you don't get hard skin as much, do you know what I mean? And I know you're wearing gloves, but it's still the same. Still hammers your hand with this sort of work. Taken to these plastic handles on the sledge. Yeah, you don't damage the same as wood. You're not going to break and snap in your hand. Yeah, I quite like the plastic handles on the old sledgehammers now. Same as this one here, look. It's had plenty of abuse. But the axes, same plastic handled axes. Okay, you know, experts and whatever, but for just a pure butchering, pure molesting, pure demolishing, plastic handles I find are way more durable. There again, if needs must, and you're a bit poor and you've seen the price of stuff, you can always weld a tube onto a hammerhead. Yeah, you can always weld a tube onto a hammerhead, and that'd be really tough on the hand. So you get a bit of hose pipe, radiator hose pipe, give you some sort of comfort. So if you're skint, you can, and you need a hammerhead with a handle, you can always do it this way, but it's tough on the hands. And it's always worth buying it when you see it, because your wire brush will wear down to nothing eventually. And this that I bought, wow, probably years and years ago, the price I paid for it then, next to the price you'd pay for it today. So it's always worth buying stock when you land on it. You know, if you've nothing particular you want to buy, but you see something, oh, that might come in handy. I bought this years and years ago, probably for half the price or even less than what you would have to pay for it today. And yeah, they do run out, they do wear out eventually. So I'm going to fully protect myself. Because they do spit out wire. Oh, you do get these, they do come undone. They like to fly towards you when you wake up in the middle of the night with a bit of wire come out of somewhere. Something. Wear my glasses. I'm not always a safety man. We should do, really. And wear the gloves and let's crack on. It's done a great job on the back. Not such a good job here, but because it's a thinner layer here, easy to get off. A bit thicker here, but we'll hammer that off now, and that'll soon be done. So we've hammered it with a bit of an old welding hammer. Seen better days. Just enough spike to release it, but you don't want to damage or put any dents in the shovel itself, because you want the material to slide on and off easily, don't you? This is what we're after. Brushes are wild, but I find keep them under strain, don't let them rev out. You know, these spin at a hell of a rate. If you leave it there spinning, you'll just blow everything up. I like to keep a pressure on it, make it pull, make it work all the time. Get it, you know, don't hold it in the air and let it spin up. Puts a lot of weight on the bearings and everything else. Just keep it engaged, and then obviously when you don't want it, switch it off and bring it to a stop. But they're not that good for your grindettes. They do an awfully good job, but they don't kill your grindet. This is really hot. It's working hard, straining. This gearbox here has had a good hammering on a piece of kit that's done well anyway. It's got a bit of age on it. So anyway, let's crack on. That'll do. It doesn't take long to bring that back to life. You see old shovels full of cement and stuff everywhere, don't you? They throw them in the skip. Yeah, it doesn't take long to take them. Oh. Hold on, take the glove off.